boys, doing something a little different today. Comparing probably the 3 most popular tire sizes that you have to choose from nowadays. Your stock tire, 265/70 R17, 275/70 R17, 285/70 R17. And then as you can see this shot here, you can definitely see a gradual increase in height and maybe a little bit in width as well. I got a tape measure, so we're going to look at the physical actual measurements, but keep in mind that these are not inflated, so these are just, you know, sitting here. But you can still see it, you know, side by side. And also, this 265 is a C load, 275 is an E load, and 285, this one particularly, is a C load. Load rating is obviously something you want to take into consideration, depending on what kind of vehicle and what you're going to be hauling, towing, etc., and just the weight of the vehicle. I mean, even C load tires are plenty strong enough. You know, the Ford Raptor comes with a C load 35-inch BF KO2 on it. Obviously, the lighter weight vehicles like a Jeep and a Toyota will not need anything over a C load. And there's definitely some debate out there. People say heavier, you know, thicker, stronger sidewall, but I really think it comes down to just how much load you're going to put on it. And then typically the higher the load, the stiffer the sidewall. So that take that consideration when you're, you know, the ride quality as well as the weight of the tire will make a big difference. So always look at the true specs on manufacturers' websites so you can get an idea of what that actually entails. For me personally, I'd rather have a C load. I have my 4Runner. I just bought a 2019 TRD off-road 4Runner, and I'm going with the Nitto Ridge Grappler 285/70 R17 in the C load versus the E. Weight-wise, they're near identical, but I know for sure that the C is going to be a little softer compound. To this video, we're just going to look at the comparison, particularly of the BFG, see the gradual increase, and it's probably the #1 question we get, you know, when doing lifts, and just, you know, what size tire to get, what size lift to get, and then, you know, not just what size tire, but then which tire. Your Mud Terrain, you have your All-Terrain, you get your hybrids, it's like, you know, something in between, and the BFG is more of an aggressive all-terrain tire, and probably one of the most popular tires out there. For affordability, longevity, which is some debate now, people say that the KO2s aren't as good as they used to be, but it's really interesting. But you see guys say they only got 15,000, 20,000 miles out of them, and there's still guys getting 60, 70,000 miles out of them. So I don't know how transparent it can be in this world that we live in, and, you know, what we see online is what to really believe. But I know for sure BF Goodrich has been in business for a long time. They have a track record of winning multiple off-road events, and it's proven. So, you know, I think that's enough said on that. Personally, I think too many people have the KO2s. I like the tire, but I see them almost 75% of the trucks I see out here have KO2. So for me, I'm going to go with the Ridge Grapplers. And I think more than anything, it's just a different look. I love the side tread, and I like the fact that it's like a hybrid tire. I'm going to have the Ridge Grappler side by side here with this one, and we'll do a true measurement as well on the true sidewall tread and that physical height, which are near identical. They're all right around 33. Some are 32.8, some are 33.1. I mean, it just depends on the manufacturer. Typically, Toyo and Nitto run usually bigger and wider than the BFG. Even Mickey Thompson runs a little bit wider as well. Okay, let's get the tape measure out. Looking right about 8.5 on the 265. 8, almost 9. Remember, this is tread from the tip of each tread block. You know, they got the notches on this side, but you look at these. The true width from end to end. That was 9, and then the 285, only about 1/4 inch more, 9.25 more. When they say true width, they're talking about the sidewall. When you put it on a rim and you inflate this bad boy, it'll definitely widen it out a bit. The physical, what comes in contact with the road or the trail is obviously, you know, how much you inflate, deflate. You know, your wheel is going to make a huge difference in how these tires are going to look, particularly because of the sidewall. And if you go with like an 8-inch or 9-inch or a 10-inch wide wheel, it'll make a huge difference. Usually stock wheels are around 7, 7.5, depending on the manufacturer. I know my 4Runner, the stock TRD wheel is a 7.5-inch wide, and I'm planning to go 8, 8.5 just to kind of widen it out a bit. But also, you know, the backspace and offset will make a huge difference on how it looks on the vehicle. We'll do the true height now. 265. It's about 31.25. So like I mentioned, keep in mind that these aren't inflated. It looks about 32. 32 for the 275, and let's pull it to the 285. For 32 1/4. That's interesting because these tires claim to be maybe a tad more, almost 32 1/2. Okay, I'm gonna do the Nitto Ridge Grappler compared to the KO2 side by side. These have become my favorite tires here. Nitto Ridge Grappler. On paper, they're heavier. I think these are 51 pounds, and I believe, don't mark my words, I think these are around 58. But I'll put the specs like I mentioned on the screen here from the Nitto website. But both C-load, and that's what I prefer. Especially if you're, like I said, a Jeep Toyota guy, lighter vehicle, you don't need that. You know, even full size, you don't really need a D or E-load tire. So it's getting harder to find C-load tires. Height-wise, they're almost identical, which it should be. They're both 285/70s. So tread from tip to tip, not the notched ones. Now this is interesting. The Ridge Grappler is actually less than 9 inches. It's 8, almost 9. It's like 8 7/8. The sidewall, 10 3/4. Wow, only about 10 on the KO2. So let's look at the height now. 32 1/4, similar. So obviously, inflating them blows them up a lot more. KO2 MTZP3. Obviously, the tread alone is way more aggressive. I have these in the 295/70 R17 on my 4Runner, and I put about 10,000 miles on them so far. And if you don't rotate them enough, they can start vibrating. And so you need to rotate I'd say 5,000 every time you do an oil change. Just go ahead and rotate your tires if you can. Helps if you want them to wear smoothly and to just last longer. So how's the noticeable difference between the two? I mean, even eyeballing it down low, you can see that the Mickey Thompson is definitely like a 1/4 inch taller and just a beefier looking tire. Let's look at the tread pattern. 9 on the MTZP3, and this KO2 is once again 8 1/2. So a 1/2 inch wider in tread. Sidewall is roughly 10 1/8, 9 7/8. So noticeably wider. These are going to be quieter, these are going to be louder, and these are going to be a little heavier. So yeah, it's E-load. I think they only make this in the E-load from Mickey Thompson. And then this is C or E you can get from BF Goodrich. It's a great all-around choice. I really like these tires. For sure, way more aggressive. They work really well all around. And it's a good looking tire. And they're fairly light comparably to the other brands out there, even though it's an E-load. Okay, on to the Mud Terrain. I just set up, I got the Goodyear Wrangler MTR with Kevlar, the original BFG KM2. They still make these, we don't know how long, so if you can find a set or order a set, I recommend getting one since they're a D-load and they're almost 7.5 pounds lighter than the KM3, which is a big deal, and KM3 is an E-load. Mickey Thompson MTZP3. Right off the bat, you can see how much shorter the KM2 is, and you can tell it's definitely a shorter tire. On paper, the KM2 lists at exactly 33 inches tall. Personally, I've never run these. I've heard that they're fairly loud for a mud terrain tire. I have run these, several sets of these. I do love these tires, and I'm currently running these, like I mentioned, 295/70 R17 in mine. It's about 9 inches on the Goodyear KM2, about 9 1/4. B3 is right about 9 1/2. Let's go true side tread. The MTZP3 is about 10 3/4. This particular tire rounds up. You can tell like the sidewall is wide, but then it rounds up quite a bit right in here. This one is about 10 3/4. And then the Kevlar, which has got a really aggressive side tread. Out of the three, I think this one's, well, it's more angled. It's interesting because the MTZ is more squared. Some people love these tires. I mean, I don't have any experience with them, so I can't attest to it. And this is about the same, 10 3/4, more or less, with inside tread. Okay, now look true height. Okay, so the Kevlar, definitely taller than the All-Terrains that we saw before. This one's 32, it's 32 3/4. It's 32 1/4. And MTZP3 coming in a little bit over 32 5/8, almost 32 3/4. I know I always love having a mud terrain tire, whether or not I actually need it. They always look a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more masculine than, the all-terrain My experience with mud terrain tires versus all-terrain tires is they're definitely noisier, but they channel water better. Obviously mud a lot better than an all-terrain tire. These lugs on most mud terrain tires will help channel the water a lot better than an all-terrain tire. All-terrain tires kind of keep them more locked in. It all depends on which one, whether you're talking about the Ridge Grappler, the KO2, obviously. But they have the wider lugs, which obviously help clear mud out more, but also when you hit a big puddle, it helps channel the water out better on the sides. Same here with the KM2s. Imagine hitting water, and the water has a way of escaping. Does that make sense? If BFG, if you're listening, please continue making these, or put the KM3 with a D load or even a C load for us, Toyota Jeep guys. Even like Chevy, you know, Colorados and whatnot. We don't need an E load tire. Hopefully you guys are listening. All right, guys, that was it for today. I really just wanted to go through, you know, just a comparison from the 265, 75, and 85, which are pretty much the 265 and 285 have been the main choices people go with, and you know, it never fails. You guys end up getting 265, 70s. They put them on a nice wheel, looks great, but then they come back a couple months later wanting to go to 285. So it's, even with myself, it's like just that subtle difference in the size fills the wheel well that much more. Personally, I like the 285/70 the most, the size for like a 2 to 3 inch lift. I mean, even I've seen, you know, like 4 to 6 inch lifts, and the 285/70 still looks pretty good. But by then you end up guys going a little bit bigger, wider, you know, 295s, which is a 33.5. So even like 305s or you know, the 35 12.5 just looks so much better on, you know, 4 to 6 inch lift. You know, you just see what's out there. But obviously choosing a bigger tire, you know, your gas mileage is going to suffer as well as performance a bit. You will lose for sure just the pickup speed you had, and just, you know, when you're doing hill climbs like large mountain hill grades and stuff, you'll notice the difference that you really got to punch it a lot more, because I mean, so much more rolling resistance. And keep in mind, the wider you go, it's more rolling resistance as well as the tread is. So, you know, the more aggressive tread typically has more rolling resistance. Obviously better for mud and, you know, typical snow and just deeper stuff where the tire has to dig more. It's going to do better. But if it's a daily driver, I mean, you're just going to want to go with more of an all-terrain tire, like the, you know, the Nitto Ridge Grappler, the BF Goodrich KO2, or even the Mickey Thompson MTZP3. There's tons of different all-terrains out there, but most guys just want to have more of an aggressive looking tire, and I think you can't go wrong with the KO2 or the Ridge Grappler. Okay guys, that wraps up this particular episode. We were doing a little bit of the more standard sizes people get, and as you can see, there's a lot of tires. So if you have any particular requests, please leave, you know, a comment or just a request in there, and we can compare. I mean, I'm looking at Toyo Open Country 33 12.5 R20s, the RTs, the MTs, the Baja Claws 37 12.5 17, Super Swampers. So, you know, if you have anything in particular you want comparison, whether 20s, 22s, 18s, let us know. There's a lot of tires on hand here if you want to see any side-by-side true comparisons. And you know, there's so many different trucks that you build here, and I mean, I could make 50 videos a day, but it's just, I don't know really what you guys want to see. So please leave a comment, question, request, subscribe, and just, you know, let us know what you're looking for. All right, thanks for watching. Back to work.